Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I am Evil Mike, and I got a single review for you. I'm going to set that down for a second, because honestly I thought I was done with my single reviews, and if you follow me, if you watch my reviews, I do them in two fashions. I kind of break them down into singles, and then I kind of do a group selected because I read so much. The singles are usually set aside for the ones that I deserve a little more attention. Maybe are the ones that I know that most people passed on because they might be abstract, and many different reasons, right? So I thought I was done with the single reviews, and this comic right here is probably at a tie for my pick of the week. I've actually read quite a bit of my fat stack, and I was getting ready to do a collection of my videos. I usually break them into 4 or 5. This one, man, not only was it funny, it actually had me busting out laughing in a couple different parts. Excuse me, but in all fairness, to enjoy this comic, you definitely have to watch the animated show that ties into it. I'm not saying it's a necessity. You can read the comic by itself, and you can enjoy it just from the story where it begins. But to really enjoy this comic, you're going to need to watch the first two seasons of Harley Quinn's animated show that is on HBO Max. At one time it came from DC Universe, and after the deal with HBO Max, they shifted it over there. But this is continuing directly off the last episode from that show. There is a lot of Easter eggs, references from the show where the book tells you, hey, you need to go watch the show for, these reference, side notes, those kind of things. But this is Harley Quinn's The Eat, Bang, and I think it is a Kill Tour, directly from the animated series. Let's get into this. This is written by is it T. Franklin, and art by Max Sarin. We got colors by looks like Marissa Louise, and letters by Taylor Esposito. I think that's the, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced. I know I've mispronounced a couple of them. First off, the art is beyond stellar. I mean, this is some of the best art I have seen, and yes, it's my opinion. But I love the art. I mean, it's not even from that anime. They do have the likeness of the animated characters, which we're going to get into. But just, I mean, you're about to see the art on every panel, every page is just is stellar. There are Easter eggs galore that actually tie this universe into all that Harley Quinn's been associated with, and I'll get there too. I'm pretty sure I might have missed more because the detail in the art is just amazing. In the last episode that I can remember, Poison Ivy was about to marry Kite Man. A bunch of the villains had showed up for the wedding that was taking place in like a corn factory. And of course we kind of saw that Poison Ivy at the last second was making a split decision, and she kind of, decided to go with Harley. She was already kind of slowly falling in love with Harley. Harley not doing it on purpose, just being Harley Quinn, and the two souls just, finding each other at an awkward time. But they are right after that whole debacle, and the police and Batman did show up, and Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are on the run. And this is where the art just gets kapow! There's a lot that goes on every page, and basically this page right here, she is catching you up with some of the things that have been going on in Harley Quinn, specifically for the last 2 years, because the 2 seasons of the show, right? But in a nutshell, it's kind of like what Harley Quinn's been going on in main continuity, because all this kind of has happened in main continuity. If you want to try and fit it in, you could say this is a year 1 or year 2, it kind of fits in between there. I wouldn't say year 1 or 2, I would say this is maybe like year 4 or 5 of Harley Quinn, because there is references, of certain things. But it's just basically, she's being chased by Gordon and, all the officers from Gotham City, and it's basically her, her and Ivy, evading the police. Eventually Harley has to jump, into the fray, and it's Harley is an amazing gymnast to begin with, so, with ease, but there is humor without this. I mean, this is basically where I started laughing, and it wasn't every panel, but the jokes are nice, I can say that, and well written. But basically they do catch you up that Harley was dating the Joker, and that's how she got established. Basically they broke up because Joker's, he's trash, and as far as the relationships go, and they kind of she kind of goes into how her and Poison Ivy kind of got connected, but again, she referenced you to, please watch the show, which you should. It's a great show. It's actually one of my favorite out of the DC catalog that they've come out with recently. It is very funny. But eventually we catch up, and like after Harley has kind of flip-flopped all throughout the cops, and they are about to come to a dead end, and Poison Ivy basically makes this huge ramp. They take the ramp, and of course the cops follow. I don't know why. Poison Ivy being able to control the plant, she knew what was coming, and she cancels all the plants, and of course all the police drop down, but she is not that mean version of Ivy yet. She does end up saving the cops before they fall to their death. Harley and Ivy do manage to escape, and they go to one of Poison Ivy's hangouts, which happens to be in a mattress store, like but there are some moments that, as they get to slow down and kind of talk about what's been going on, Ivy is kind of having like major doubts about what she did to Kite Man. Yes, she does love Harley, but at the same time, she did fall in love with Kite Man and stuff like that. She didn't want to move forward with Kite Man, and if you've watched the show, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, Kite Man was a badass. But Kite Man saw it too, because I mean, he's the one that technically left Ivy at the stand. He kind of saw, her reaction to him giving his vows, and he was like, "No, I see it. I'm out. I don't feel it." But nonetheless, there were some other things that happened, like because they had invited all the villains to show up at the wedding. Batman showed up and the cops showed up, and they weren't necessarily doing anything bad. Yes, they are wanted villains, but again, they weren't doing anything bad, and they were just partaking in a wedding, and a lot of them got arrested, in that whole scuffle. So Ivy's kind of going through some stuff, So we finally catch up with them, going to the mattress factory, and the whole time, because Ivy is still in her wedding gown, Harley is pretending that they are married and stuff, as you can see here. But this is where the Easter eggs are plenty. I mean, they are all over here. I had references from Harley Quinn from Arkham City, the video games, from Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad movies as far as costume and weaponry. Of course, you have different nods to, her pet hyenas, Lou and Bud. You see, I mean, there is stuff going on all over the place. So if you had to say continuity-wise, I mean, they just connected all universes that Harley fits in. They show past outfits, present outfits, current outfits, different weapons. They even have the infamous blue shotgun, and one of my favorite Easter eggs is a picture of this boy right here. And if you have watched the show and you can piece together who that boy is, it is one of my favorite things from that show. They actually show him, and every time they do show the little boy and he is watching Poison Ivy, and his eye moves around, but it is actually a gentle reference to Bane and his hate for Todd that works at the Starbucks in that universe. Damn it, Todd, my name is Bane, not Bang. Fucking millennials. But there are Easter eggs aplenty. What the artist has done is just amazing. There's even like pictures of, her current squad, her past squad, her squad with the Suicide Squad, the Sirens. It is amazing what they did in this one panel. But there are Easter eggs throughout. You just kind of have to keep your eyes open. I will point out another that I loved. which is right here. Eventually, while they were there and relaxing, they saw that Ivy's wedding was blasted, televised, and Harley actually has an enemy, and that is and kind of Ivy too, but I think her name is Tanya, and she's the reporter that reports in Gotham, and she is constantly tweeting stuff against Harley and anybody that's associated with her. One of my favorite Easter eggs is actually right here, and it is a baby picture, is a poster of her two hyenas, Frank and Lou. But they move forward. They show that that Gordon was rescued and made to look like a fool. That Batman kind of showed him up, and if you follow this version of Gordon, he is not the same version of Gordon that is portrayed in the comics. He is some of the comedy that is involved in the show. So, and everything that they've written in here, if you have seen the show and you just can remember how they act, their voices and stuff, it's just well done. We do catch up with more on Ivy, and she is going back, to this, and she's just not feeling well after all this, and Harley is just doing her best, trying to bring her lover back, her spirits back up. She's trying to she's noticing that she's hurt, that that she feels kind of isolated, that she is kind of just branching out to Ivy to tell her, hey, you can not only unleash on me, but you can lean on me if you need to, or if I got a hug if you need to. And Ivy is just explaining that no, I mean, she's gonna be good. It's just with everything that kind of was in fast motion, with them getting together, everything that happened at the wedding, all the stuff with Kite Man, all the villainous stuff, it kind of got and she's just like, I'll be good. I just need a second, and kind of makes a reference, and this is where the book gets a little more on the sexy side, because finally they do get to relax a little bit and have that relationship time. I will say this is some of the funnier and feel-good moments, because if you do catch some scenes, like Harley's expression right there is priceless. The mention that they're finally getting to the sexy time. But we finally do get back in the bed, and they have their fun, and then fast forwards, and it's after that occasion, and it's more of one of the reasons why I've loved Harley Quinn, because she can be this crazy villain and everything, but deep down, if you really know Harley, she is like one of the best friends that you would ever want. Yes, she's crazy, but I mean, deep down, her ideas of loyalty and honesty and what she would do for a friend type thing is stellar, and that's why I've always loved Harley Quinn and the way they write her. Yes, she's goofy, yes, she's crazy, but there's so much more to her, and this comic can't do a better job of touching on that. Again, with all her facial expressions going off of what Harley is telling her, and basically reassuring that she's really into Harley, that the love is there, and Harley kind of comes up with this idea to perk her up, that they are kind of going off the news that of course Gordon and the police and Batman now are kind of on a break, and they know that Harley's going to go back to one of her infamous hideouts. So with that kind of knowledge being processed, Harley kind of comes up with an idea to cheer Ivy up, and it will be like the main kind of going point of the comic. And Harley states that, hey babe, well, since all those villains got locked up because of the wedding, no disrespect to the wedding, but she does state that wouldn't it be fun if we go like pillage and go chill at their hideouts while they're all locked up, right? And Ivy's not down for that idea. Remember, this isn't the mean, spiteful Ivy yet. And she's not always like that either. In brief periods of her time, she has been that true villain. But Ivy is more for the idea of, hey, we got these guys locked up. I feel bad about it. Why don't we go, like, watch their hideouts, take care of their pets, water their plants, pick up their mail kind of thing. And basically what it's going to turn out to be is this ongoing journey of them, going to one villain hideout after the next, maybe having some Harley chaos along the way type issue. they do get all packed up, and then they finally get to the car, and there's one of my favorite moments in the comics, something that was missing, that's been the Easter eggs there all along. But I mean, it's not really Harley without these two, and they're my favorite version of Harley. Only shows up with them around. But yay, we got my pups, and everything is ready, and they're ready to go on their adventure. And we're going to have to find out all the kooky and craziness and sexiness that instills in this love comedy of a story. Man, I can't talk about how well the art was. The story, just the basic of the principle. It's an easy story, right? The basic of the principle. And I just said that, but it was a fun book nonetheless. I highly suggest picking it up and reading for yourself. There's a lot of story that's woven in there, and it's well excellent, you know, written, and I mean everything, the paneling, the colors, everything pops. I mean it is really nice. That's all I got for you right now. I will be back with you soon. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought, you know, and I'll be back with you soon. Bye guys.